Following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Yeah, let's cut to the chase, okay? What are you guys selling?
Truth Theorem Radio.
This is about saving the future of humanity.
But I was told that I could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, and that naked chicks on there, man, you go click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Stuff is gonna be cool.
I think you just became my personal hero.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Truth Theorem Radio. Episode number 4.3. There we go. Let's get in the right season.
Hey, you were
4.3
backwards there.
with this week's guest, A.K. Kuykendall. Woohoo!
Oh, you.
Did you do that again?
Sorry, Nate.
I sat here and watched him reach over. I sat here and watched him reach over to hit that mute button, specifically to hit that mute button.
No.
And it was sort of out of the peripheral of my vision.
You did catch it,
but
though.
I caught it.
It's all. It's
set not like
mute.
he was trying to hide it. He
It's a thing.
blatantly reached over and hit the mute button, and then kind of looked at me.
Right.
You know
Just
what
to
I mean?
see if you saw. Something's missing. Does it feel weird in here?
Kind of does.
It is kind of weird in here.
I don't know what it is. All right, so
anyhow,
what?
I don't have my vaporizer. Let's see here.
Is that it?
A.K. Kuykendall. I'm excited for this.
I'm very excited.
Now, what's this dude all about?
He is a writer. His
okay.
website is www.thewriterofbooks.com.
Now, is that capital or
the right
writer of books?
Yeah. Wow.
Writer of books?
I would expect it's of.
Anyhow, he's a novelist, but he incorporates all kinds of alternative theories on historical events and into his stories.
It's awesome.
I think one of the things he mentioned in our conversations for setting up the interview is his theory on JFK, the assassination of JFK. He sent me a link to some stuff. I just didn't have a chance to check it out. But it sounds very compelling, and I believe he's going to have a lot to say. He sounds like a real interesting dude, not just from the writer standpoint and what he's got to say in his books, but for who he is. He lives in Hawaii. He just seems like a really interesting
I'm jealous
dude.
Already.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm excited because I'm a huge proponent of the incorrect history book theory.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we know that history is written by the victors, so
Yeah, sure.
whatever. All right, well, hey, it's time for What the Facts,
What the
D?
facts? All right, D, what the facts?
Dale.
Hey.
Dale's not here.
Dude, I knew something was missing.
That's what
Told
it was.
you something was missing.
Oh, man.
It's Dale.
Are you sure it wasn't your vaporizer?
Where is Dale? Where is Dale?
You know what? Dale's feeling under the weather today.
Oh, he is?
So get better, D.
Oh, he's not coming in. Well, feel better.
Yeah, we're thinking
We
of
miss you, my friend.
Did you guys hear Chumley died?
Chumley died.
What?
Pawn Stars?
From
Chumley?
Pawn Stars. Actually,
Heart
he
attack?
didn't. It's a hoax.
It's a hoax.
It's not real. It started on ebuzz.com, and they're a fake news website that commonly reports death hoaxes. So
And
he's
what
not
would
really
be the
dead.
purpose of reporting hoax death? Why
what's
one?
the purpose of going and making a crop circle? What's the purpose of
there may be
faking Bigfoot?
Hoax is
You
a
know,
hoax
it's
is
a
a
hoax.
hoax.
Yeah, yeah.
Hoaxers.
I still don't get it.
It's what they do. I don't either. But,
I think that's the point.
somebody's got a lot of time
I
on
just
their
don't get
hands,
it.
whatever.
Well, okay.
I did hear today something I want to run past you guys. In fact, it was you that showed it to me, Warren. Somebody had tapped on the stones at Stonehenge.
Yeah, that was cool.
With a granite hammer. Is that what you called it?
No, it wasn't granite. It was a crystal.
I have the story right here.
Oh, you've got it.
Anyhow,
it was
sounded
interesting.
the way that it sounded was kind of. I mean, it got annoying because they just didn't stop doing it.
And the dude doing it had no rhythm. That's what bugged me.
Ain't that the
he
truth?
was trying to.
No, he was.
God bless his heart.
Oh, bless his little heart.
Yeah, it was no good.
But it sounded.
It was interesting.
It sounded like you would hit what it would sound like if you hit metal.
Metal, or some of them sounded like wood.
Maybe ceramic.
According to experts from London's Royal College of Art, Some of the stones sound like bells, drums, and gongs when they are played or hit with hammers.
I think that's a little... that's nice. I don't think it's quite sounded like that, but it was very interesting.
It didn't sound like a stone.
No, it didn't.
For sure.
Well, some of them did, actually. I thought, yeah, I could hear, a stone that was buried in the dirt. That's what it said, I don't know. It was weird.
You know what I never realized? That the Stonehenge stones are blue. They call them blue stones. And apparently they're from nowhere around there.
Yeah.
In fact, when they were built, they were carted in from 200 miles away from another quarry, when there was plenty of the same type of material there.
The same?
In sight, yeah.
What?
And so they're theorizing that maybe this is why. Maybe they selected specific stones that had specific tones to them. And so when they brought them all together, they harmonized and resonated with one another.
Oh, that is beautiful.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wait, but then why?
Well, one theory is communications, long ways communications, a primitive Morse code.
Terrestrially or
no. Terrestrially.
Okay, so
yes,
on the planet.
Right.
Yes.
Because apparently some of these tones could be heard from half a mile away, I guess. According to the story.
You could probably
communications, music. Could have been music.
That's a pretty big.
That's a pretty sick drum set, bro.
The opening line to this article says Stonehenge may have been built by Stone Age man as prehistoric center for rock music.
Yeah, man. I thought Neil Peart had a nice drum set.
Telling you, man, this thing is old school. This is a vintage kit.
Rock and roll is older than we thought.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Indeed, my friend.
So
I would be interested to see where that goes. I mean, if they're doing more studies on it, or what the deal is.
There's a lot of mysteries surrounding Stonehenge.
Well, yeah.
And maybe that's something we could talk to our author about, since he's the history
I
buff.
believe he is quite the history buff. Yeah. I think he's going to have a lot to say tonight.
He might have
very excited
because nobody really knows. There's no real concrete. It's like the pyramids and the
Well, and I
Sphinx
had asked you. I'd come back to this. I had asked you about that pyramid that apparently was found underwater. And did you call you call that a hoax? Like it was fake?
No, there has been that in the past where they say they're pyramids of crystals or glass. And when I first read,
these were stone apparently.
Then it must be real.
No, there are
dude.
the stone
ones.
Yeah.
But these are in the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously they were on land at some point, but they're lined up with the same kind of celestial things with the stars and all that the Egyptian pyramids are. They're all perfectly in line like that.
And that's a pretty good way to date that kind of artifact, because.
But they're saying that's upwards of about 20,000 years old.
Yeah.
Well, but
I read an article a while
how does
back.
something actually move into the water and still stay aligned where it was at?
Well,
it never moved. The water line has.
Unless
there's something to be said
that's
for the
possible.
Well,
earthquakes could move it.
The ocean levels have drastically risen and fallen over.
Well, we came out of an ice age.
Yeah.
So I'm sure.
Yeah. So.
Stupid ice.
Yeah, but your Coke would be nothing without it. So
that's true.
But that's a good way to date
Actually,
it.
it's Monster tonight. But
it's just like the Caesarea dragon thing here. That's kind of how he's put a date on his discovery up on the hill here.
Now, yeah, if you have not heard of the Caesarea dragon discovery, it's quite fascinating. And
how do you spell that?
CaesariaDragon.com, is that?
SeaZoria. Caesarea dragon. It's very interesting. It was actually found here in Utah by a guy that dug up rocks
for a living.
Yeah. And when he was pulling these rocks out that were very similar, and he's like, how does this happen?
Yeah, because that's not.
And it got to the point where he was doing it so much that he could go, oh wow, well if this rock is here and we go this far over this way, we're going to pull up this rock and this rock and this rock and this rock, and lo and behold, there they were.
And he was a landscape. Contractor type guy. And so these guys were building retaining walls and steps, and so this was really handy for him because he knew right where to go to get the proper stone to make the stairs with or whatever.
And what really dawned on him was there were right-left configurations, which is what said, hey, this is biological. That's when he's like, hey, this has to be biological. There's a right side, there's a left side, and it's all over the place here. It's got to be biological, but it doesn't fit with anything that we've ever found or we know about.
It's not in the history.
And 400 million years
or was it 580 million or something?
That sounds more like it. It's been a while since he's been on here. We should probably get him back on here and have him update.
Fun. He's actually done some stuff over the summer.
Yes, there has been some developments there, I think.
So yeah, that'd be cool.
The Caesaria dragon. Prehistoric sea dragon remains found in Utah, USA. The discovery of the true sea dragons, the world's oldest, largest, and most advanced forms of life ever discovered. Now, what do they mean by advanced? I mean, is that just like top
they
of
had
the food
cars.
chain?
We're talking
cars.
They were rolling in their 6'4s",
arithmetic.
you know what I mean?
These are 300-foot long creatures.
300 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should read some of the facts before I start talking about it.
That's pretty advanced.
That's not advanced. That's big.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's advanced. That is the top of the food chain.
If you are talking in terms of evolution, that is way advanced.
Copy that.
Yeah. From an amoeba to that takes a long time. Yeah.
Hey, there's one more thing I just found that I'd like to share with you, fine gentlemen. Apparently, UFO sightings in Canada are sky high. They're hitting a total only seen once before in the past 25 years. There were 1,100 UFO sightings reported in 2013, or about 3 each day, according to the Canadian UFO Survey. Yes. It's the second highest one in the past 25 years. The peak year was 2012 when almost 2,000 were reported. Now, that comes on the heels of that former prime minister coming out and saying, yeah, we're working right along with them gray fellas.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you guys have no idea. In fact, I encourage all leaders and, leadership of this country to start talking about it because it's real and you're all going to get the stuff scared out of you, by what's about to happen.
Just today.
Wait, what's about to happen?
Just today.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever he was whatever he was implying.
All right.
You know what happened just today? March 12th, today. Like today. This is like breaking news. Just happened.
Lay it on me.
An Indiana parent and daughter driving northeast along Mon Road in Indianapolis reported joining nearly 24 vehicles who had pulled over to watch a huge, shiny, disc-shaped UFO hovering nearby under 500 feet in the air, according to the testimony in case from MUFON.
And so there was a bunch of people that saw this?
Yes. They were pulling over to watch the sunset, but then noticed people pointing into the sky and taking photos during the event.
Okay, time out. I've done that before, though, just to see who I could get to look.
Well.
Is that true?
Yes. You haven't?
No, dude.
Like you're like, just look up to the sky and just kind of point a little bit like you're not really sure, and everybody
Why
looks,
doesn't
dude.
that surprise me
It doesn't
at all?
matter. Now, the other thing you can do is if you're sitting around and there's a bunch of people, just look over your shoulder. Just like that, and then look back at them. Everybody will look over your shoulder.
According to witness testimony...
Wow.
I immediately pulled the car
now, hold on,
over.
Jason. I'm learning valuable manipulation tactics here.
I immediately pulled the car over into the space and left in the driveway, and immediately me and my daughter got out of the car and watched this beautiful gleaming spaceship just up in the sky.
Beautiful.
Yes. The witness could not take his eyes off it.
And so what
I immediately felt the vibration start in the top of my torso, and I felt a shiver work its way all the way down to my feet. My daughter watched it. I told her to get her iPad out and record. She did, and it should be on this thing. Apparently it's not. My daughter got scared and wanted to go where the other people were, but I said I didn't want to take my eye off it. Right then I turned toward my car door, looked back, and it was gone.
Oh, man.
So anyway, yeah.
So it was supposed to be videotaped. It was supposed to be captured on her iPod.
Apparently
or
never
iPad.
did, yeah.
And it did not.
Yeah. They drew some pictures of it.
Well,
it's
that's
listed in the
great.
MUFON case file, so if you want to go check that out, MUFON.com.
MUFON.
That's
Not
awesome.
Muffin.
Not Muffin.
One F.
Hey, just a reminder, coming up in about 14 minutes, A.K. Kuykendall is going to be joining us.
Woohoo!
Yes,
All
very
right.
excited. I'm actually messaging him back and forth, confirming.
Is he excited?
Said appearance. He actually is.
Confirming 15 minutes before he's supposed to be on. That's
Oh
great.
no, he's literally confirmed with me about 3 times a day for the last 3 days. So
All right,
he's
perfect.
he's
We
a
know.
very reliable gentleman.
Very
that's
good.
For sure.
So
I wasn't questioning him. I was questioning you.
Hey, cool it.
So big building collapse in New York City today.
Yeah, what's up with that gas explosion?
Gas explosion. Yeah.
Another one?
Another one?
Yeah, didn't this just happen like a month ago? There was a huge building that got leveled.
This was today.
Yeah, this happened today.
Yeah,
about 9:30
It also
a.m.
happened about a month ago.
Wow.
That's crazy. It injured 36 people, evidently.
Killed 2,
so,
from what I heard.
Wow.
And 2 more may have fatal injuries. But that was this morning.
Fear that there's more trapped in the rubble, evidently.
That's
Here we go,
good.
all over again. 9/11. What's today?
Oh, no.
It's a new number. What's today? 312.
Wait, what?
312 is a new number. 312.
No, dude, that's not a conspiracy.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is. I know that they called it in, and they apparently sent a group to go and look at it, see what's going on, but it exploded before they got there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Big Bangs, the Big Bang Theory gets 3 more years renewed. We'll get 3 more years of the Big Bang Theory now on CBS.
Oh, you're talking to...
I don't know. I guess that's probably really good if you watch it. That's something to be excited about.
You don't like that?
No, Nate?
Yeah, no. TV's bad for you, man.
It is bad for
you. This is Truth Theorem Radio. Let me tell you some truth. TV's bad for you.
It is.
It's bad for you.
No.
It puts images of life that isn't real in
Do you
want
to take? Do you want to talk TV for a minute? Because there's some science behind what you're talking about.
Actually, I do. Yeah,
there's some science behind what you're talking about.
Listen, it's TV, and if you are watching TV thinking it's reality, that's the issue.
No.
Not the
That's
issue.
not the issue.
I didn't say that. I said putting images of a false reality in your head.
It's
about
fantasy,
how
and every
shit stuff should be. Excuse me. Oh,
French talker.
I can't believe I just did that, man. I'm so sorry.
French. You say French first. French is my first language.
Shut the farfignugan up.
I think I need
no German.
If I look at the microphone, I think I can keep the vulgarities away.
No,
we need to
when
put
I'm
a little
staring over
sticker
here
right on your microphone.
Bantering with you two, and I tend to lose control of the verbiage.
So I want to hear this science.
Okay, so refresh rate. Do you know anything about refresh rates on the new TVs and stuff that are out now? The higher, the better.
Yeah,
the
because
more
especially
expensive.
if you're playing Xbox,
right?
You want to.
What game?
Well, it depends. Titanfall just came out.
Did you pick it up yet?
No, I played the beta though. It was cool.
I remember you talking about that. How was it?
No, it's cool. It's cool. Call of Duty though, mostly, and Battlefield 4. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome graphics.
No, Rise, the Son of Rome, is amazing.
That's
graphics.
even cooler.
For the first 10 minutes, you're just in awe. It looks real, and then after that, you're used to it. So then it's just another game. But
so for that 10 minutes,
but for the first 10 minutes is amazing.
It's like wow,
yeah,
cool. No, okay, so your eye is only capable of seeing a refresh rate of like 60 hertz or whatever.
Right.
Forgive me, I don't have the article in front of me. Okay. So when you get these TVs that have these, 250 whatever hertz refresh rate thing that you pay all this extra money for because you think it's supposed to be better, what it's actually doing is your eye is not capturing all of those images.
Okay.
Remember back in the days of subliminal messaging and programming and all this stuff?
Yeah.
This stuff still goes on between the frames, okay? Because you're only seeing one of every 10 frames or so. Okay. So they have these 9 frames per second, or whatever the number is.
Typically 32.
To do something else with.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because your eye's only seeing this much of it.
Oh, with the higher. Oh, I got you.
Now, to take that a step farther, there's pulses and all kinds of things that they can do as far as like light pulses and vibrations and sounds and things like that maybe you might not perceive on a normal basis, that they can sneak in there to your subconscious on these frequencies that you're not actually perceiving.
All right, let me ask you this. I got a couple things. Who are they?
Whoever they
it's the
are.
Illuminati, I knew it. All right, and you know what?
We should come up with a damn name for it. Really?
I think it's Dale.
Dale?
It's Dale?
It's Dale.
That's why he's not here.
He's not here because he's out messing with people.
You can't tell me, though, as a leader of the free world, that it wouldn't be beneficial to you to be able to manipulate your subjects to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, The
Would
jury's
it
still
not?
out on me as to whether that all would really manipulate you, but
Well, why wouldn't it?
In
Just
what
the
way?
stuff they put in your water
If you don't know it,
is
for
proven
example,
fact that it
fluoride
manipulates you. There you go.
manipulates you deeply,
Exactly.
harshly,
So does chlorine.
and permanently.
The fluoride just
But
makes you passive.
Most cities' drinking water is full of both of those.
No, okay.
You know what? You're
As
right.
a
I give up.
leader, Warren, would it be nice for your subjects to be loyal and passive and non-aggressive to you?
Sort of fat and eating Twinkies.
If
You know
you're
what I
going to
mean?
distract them
Watching
with
the
their
Big Bang Theory for
Xbox
another 3
and these
years.
fancy, Big Bang Theory on their, 1080p flat screen TV
That was awesome.
every night,
I have no problem with a
then you're
huge
not going to...
64-inch 1080p. I love it. Bring
I
it
do
on.
too.
But now that you've said that, I'm just going to go get my old black and white console out.
Dude, Call of Duty Ghost just ain't going to
It's
roll
not
on
gonna
that
work
thing,
good.
man.
Dude, the other day I was trying to figure out how to wire up my rotary phone. It just wouldn't work. The wires are different.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I couldn't make it work.
You couldn't wire it up.
No, I couldn't.
I
Because it
remember-
had this round thing. It's different. I don't know. This was
Maybe it
an
needs
old
to.
rotary
Oh,
phone.
maybe you could retrofit it. I'm sure. I remember my mom. She used to work for before I was born. Worked for a phone company here, and when they switched out the phone, she got this old payphone.
Really?
Yeah, rotary. It was really cool. It was down in our basement forever. I don't know what happened to it. I really wish I would have had it, but it plugged right in and it worked back in the 80s. So maybe it's the same thing. I don't know.
Do they even have wall outlets
The
anymore?
other day, I got to tell you this story, and I don't know if you're aware of this or not. My dad was trying to hook up. He's got antenna, okay, with the free digital TV antenna, right?
Yeah.
And he's misses his show that he can't watch on
30
Tuesday
or
nights.
Big Bang
whatever
Theory.
it is.
Yeah,
I don't know what
man.
that is. I think it's person of
What
interest
is
or something,
what is with
I think.
this Big Bang
And
Theory?
so what he wants to do is hook up the damn VCR to record it so he can watch it when he gets home or the next night or whatever.
That is old school.
Guess what? You can't do that anymore.
Because it's digital signal?
Yeah.
it doesn't.
I
it
defy
doesn't-
you to find a recorder that has a tuner built into it anymore for
because
sale.
digital signal
There's
will go on
no
to analog.
tuners
That's
anymore.
true. Wow.
Well, the good news is that when all the technology fails, we'll be able to do pirate radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I
How's
guess.
that?
I don't know, them little hand things that you wind up. I
No,
don't know.
I-
I've never actually used one. I
I
just
was
thought it
thinking
was a good idea.
the tin cans with the string. Is what I was
that'd
thinking.
work. We could bury a bunch of rocks and pound on them.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, let's stand a few up, call it Stonehenge, and beat on them with granite hammers. Can you hear that?
Jason wants another beer. Make it 2.
And hurry.
He's half a mile away. It'll take him a while to get here. Take your time.
Oh, I have one more story about Snowden.
What you got?
Do we have time?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's revealing a plan on how the NSA is planning to infect millions of computers with malware.
Now, okay, you know what, Nate, you I don't know, was it last week or the week before? You really opened my eyes when you said, has anybody ever considered Snowden as disinformation?
It's true.
Wow. How far is this going to go? I mean, is it really that bad? All
To
it
what
takes is a
point?
little
Wait,
bit.
wait, wait.
If
Why
he
would you want to have disinformation like that out there?
Why not?
I don't know, man.
Disinformation,
but disinformation is disinformation.
on any level really is equally as effective.
I mean, really,
for whatever
think about
you're trying
it. This
to.
dude could say anything he wants, and everybody would eat it up because he exposed the NSA with the whole wiretapping and everything.
I read an
collecting all
interesting
that
book.
information.
Well, if he's disinformation on one thing, he would have been disinformation on that.
Not to get the people on his side and be able to do whatever he wants. For
Okay, so now he's flip-flopped.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Let me tell you something. I when I was trucking, I listened to an audiobook specifically about extremism all over the world, from Muslim extremists to American extremists, just the most fanatical of the fanatic. And Julian Assange was actually
Talking Republicans, Democrats.
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, if you want to go that way with it. The funny thing is that he stayed out of the U.S. But anyhow, Julian Assange, he was the WikiLeaks guy. He's the one that had that website, and it was quite an interesting story to hear the entire backstory. But I think what I carried away from that mostly is that Julian Assange kind of got caught up in the fame of it all and sort of lost his direction with the things that he was trying to contribute to the web or as far as information goes. That said, why would it not? You know, maybe Edward Snowden's over there getting treated like a king in Russia. And you know, maybe they're working right along with this. You know, the Ukraine thing, you could tie it all together if you wanted to go that deep with it. But that's the point, isn't it? How deep does that rabbit hole go?
Warren said here, though. Check this out. Okay, so he spills the beans on the NSA, and so now he's in deep shit with the USA, and so now the USA got him by the balls, and they're saying, "Hey, you're gonna say this now, pal."
You know,
if you want to
possible.
live, and if your whole family wants to live, and everybody, you know, if we aren't going to nuke the whole planet, here is what you're going to say now. You are now under our control, and you'll do whatever the hell we say.
Very possible. I mean, really,
very
something
realistic.
To be considered
for sure.
That's
realistic.
That's all. You know,
yeah.
and so,
you know what else we should consider?
It's
a break.
A break.
Good, because I was getting thirsty. Wow.
We're gonna call up A.K. Kuykendall tonight.
Tonight? How about next? Now.
How about next?
Right now.
I want to go into this break here with a little excerpt from something I was reading on his website here. He writes, "My method for provoking thought aimed at the masses. I use fact-based fiction as my conduit. I feel it's better absorbed this way.
Agreed.
And won't put you to sleep like the many authors of nonfiction. However,
this dude was made for this show.
I would have to say that the element of truth within my work is extremely potent. After all, this is the site where truth reads beyond fiction, yeah? A.K. Kuykendall is coming up next.
I'm excited.
I dig. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Truth Theorem Radio on KVPR.
Life does not stop and start at your convenience, you miserable pieces.
Are you even supposed to be here today? Don't get me started.
Greetings, my metal minions. Dave here, your host of Metal DK, a brand new metal show featuring all genres of metal music, from Anthrax to Slipknot, Mastodon and Megadeth, and everything in between. Metal DK is your source for heart-throbbing, core-crushing metal music. So join me every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, only on kvprradio.com.
All right, get in the studio, get some stuff done today. Hey, Warren, what's going on, man? Let's get some stuff done. We got a lot to do. Warren, what? Oh, he's got his headphones on again. Warren!
Ow! God, what'd you do that for?
Come on, we got stuff to do. Let's get some stuff done.
That really hurt. I'm listening to this audiobook from Audible. Dude, that hurt.
Which audiobook you listening to?
Oh, it's called Area 51 by Annie Jacobson. I got to go to the bathroom, so listen to it. I'll be right back.
Okay, here, I'll listen.
It began in 1942, and by the time the bomb was tested inside the White Sands Proving Ground in the New Mexico high desert on July 16, 1945, the bomb's price tag, adjusted for inflation, was $28 billion. The degree of secrecy maintained while building the bomb is almost inconceivable. When the world learned that America had dropped an atomic weapon on Hiroshima, no one was more surprised than the U.S. Congress, none of whose members had had any idea it was being developed. Vice President Harry Truman had been equally stunned to learn about the bomb when he became President of the United States on April 12, 1945.
Hey, Jason, give
Truman had been chairman of the Senate Special Committee to investigate.
Ow!
Dude, it hurt. Come on, man. Give it back.
No, this is mine. No, this is good.
Dude, just go get your own.
What do you mean get my own?
Yeah, just go to gottttr.com. That's GOTTTR.com and click on the Audible button, and you can get your own free 14-day trial from Audible and download a free audiobook.
No kidding?
Yeah.
Now, Audible has over 100,000 titles to choose from.
You better believe it. Yeah.
Wow. So I can just go to gottttr.com.
Click on the link.
Click on the link, and I can get my free trial right now.
That's right.
I'm going to do it right now.
Are you suffering from dizziness, lack of energy, a feeling of unrest, or bloating? Then you must be listening to Truth Theorem Radio, and we apologize for nothing.
And we are back.
We are back.
Hello.
Well, that was a long break, man.
We have A.K. Kuykendall on the line with us.
All right. I've been excited to talk to this guy for a long time. And he's got some interesting theories and some interesting ways of explaining them and some interesting thought processes. So I encourage you to listen with an open mind.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about the way he goes about it is kind of how we did it with TTR. We were like, you know what? All this can be so overwhelming and some of it mind-numbing. Let's use some humor.
Yeah.
And maybe,
lighten it up a little bit. Yeah.
Get a little bit more people to accept it.
A.K. Kuykendall, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yes. Yeah, Truth Theorem Radio. Listen, what's your newest piece of work? And give us a little bit behind it.
Well, I can give you, the crux. I'll give you the overall crux of it.
Sounds good.
Just a footnote. The footnote is pretty much just one sentence. And you guys got to listen with an open ear. But basically, the 1947 Roswell UFO incident actually sparked the rise of the military-industrial complex and led to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Now, the ways my theory goes about explaining that is very complex, enigmatic, and pretty much will bore the hell out of you. So therefore, I put together a concept known as Conspirators Odyssey, which is moved into a series, which I explain it in a thought-provoking but entertaining way, in order to divulge or periodically divulge truths to the masses, which pretty much we get inundated with a whole bunch of junk filter as we go through life.
Indeed, sort of subtle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that going on around us here and there. I think there's a lot of people who have things to convey, and whether it comes out in their music or song lyrics or art or what they're writing about or what movies they're making or whatever, I think there's a lot of that out there, and we need to just keep our eyes open to it. So, good way to get it across for sure.
How did your interest in this particular I guess conspiracy theory turn into a novel?
Basically, I've been a creative spirit for, ever since I was a young man. I was a military brat, born in Albany, Georgia, but on a highway. Pretty much I was a highway baby. But I was raised in Kailua, Hawaii, a military brat, and I've been creative. I always wanted to tinker with things, but just knowing about the military, and I was supposed to go. My track record through life was supposed to be I was supposed to be an Army officer or a military officer.
Really?
But I decided against that based on the way I was thinking, because as a conspiracy theorist, 9 times out of 10, I'll be fragged in my first few seconds in the military.
Indeed.
So I said to myself that I know what's going on, and how when our men and women sign their names in that dotted line, there's fine print, meaning that you are literally property of the United States government, and they can do with your body what they will or what they deem fit.
And they do.
and even though I was born 11 plus years post the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, that assassination in 1963 pretty much motivated me to look into the why of it, because everyone that I've known and out of all the history that I've read, everybody focuses on the who, what, when, where, and how. I always focused on the why, and the why behind it should scare the hell out of anyone.
Yeah.
Excellent. Can you give us a little bit of the why? I mean, I'm interested here.
I'm on the edge of my chair here. Let's hear why. Why did it happen?
All right. In a nutshell, in 1961, President Dwight David Eisenhower spoke to our nation. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. But what I discovered is that within this speech was a hidden code completely lost in translation for generations. It was a dire warning that spoke to clandestine operations of the military-industrial complex. The speech spoke to technically advanced experimental operations that took place on the back end of the 1947 Roswell UFO crash incident, when he spoke of the dangers having to do with we the people becoming the captives of a scientific technological elite. That's in a nutshell.
Wow.
Wow.
So basically, my theory deals with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Just the why behind it is very simple. Everybody keeps talking about this and that and Chinese
grassy knolls and dancing bullets.
Exactly, the Bay of Pigs. They always talking about the assassination itself and Lee Harvey Oswald, which is pure crap.
Pure crap.
But basically, the reason why he was assassinated had everything, and it was specifically just one thing, because of his reluctance to go to war in Vietnam. That's the reason he was taken out. But he was but there's more to that. He was basically taken out because with his reluctance to go to war, which was the only war on the forefront for our nation, to be able to test certain weaponry forged in 1947 having to do with human evolution, i.e. super soldiers, and they needed to test this new weapon on a war footing. Vietnam was the only war that was on the horizon, which after his assassination, Lyndon Baines Johnson pushed forward with this whole crap known as the Gulf of Tonkin. So they went for a full all-out assault of Vietnam because of a supposed boat, a small fishing boat supposedly shot on a PT cruiser. You guys got to think outside the box here. That's about a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it was completely fabricated.
So they went to war over that? No, they went to war because they wanted to test this new weapon. But it's more difficult than that. But it's the same thing with, let's say, i.e. George Bush and what we're now here. I've always known it was about oil. But, we went to Iraq basically because of money. It's oil.
Yeah.
But everybody's talking about weapons of mass destruction and all this other kind of crap. It was nothing but about war. It wasn't even about Saddam supposedly trying to kill his father, George H.W. It was about oil. It's all about money and the flow of oil. We know that now. I knew that then, but we know that now.
Indeed, I heard some. I've heard some pretty interesting and seemingly relevant theories as to why we were in Iraq, and it's not necessarily just so much about oil, but the fact that they got to go over there, drop all the bombs that Halliburton was paid to make, and then turn around to send in their own contractors, sponsored by Halliburton and companies there, to rebuild it. So it's a big cycle, in my opinion, of money.
There is a lot of money to be made from war. Yeah. That's for sure.
Pay somebody to blow it up. Pay somebody to clean it up. Yeah.
You're right, yeah. But all that's a track of. Everybody's going to try to wash their own hands. When the taxpayers, us, we're living in the matrix, literally living in the matrix. They can do what they want with our blood, sweat, and tears, which is our money that we've made. Tax dollars go into the federal government, or the government's period. Doesn't matter if it's the federal government. Don't let the political atmosphere fool you. States do the same thing as the federal government does. And basically, when our billions of dollars went into Iraq, all those wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, there was no accountability for where those funds went. That whatever party's in power, because they're both the Democrats and Republicans are two-party dictatorships that are fighting like hell to man over the masses of American society, but mainly to manage our tax dollars. Taxation without representation. So basically, when all our tax dollars went into these wars, they just happened to just disappear. Where did they go? They went to bolster the party that was in power. It's just how it works. Democrats do it. Republicans do it. Independents will do it if they ever got really into power. And the Tea Party will do it if they really ever got into power. Because money is one of those 7 deadly sins that we've grown up hearing about. But when it comes down to the theory of my theory about John F. Kennedy's assassination, simple, Vietnam, but the weaponry forged by the military-industrial complex is what should scare everyone in this country and the world, for that matter, because we don't really want the allies that we talked about. We don't want to go against allies, but we had a force that's an unstoppable military force. Basically, we wouldn't need allies anymore. We'll just go, we'll seize, we'll kill, we'll plunder, and we'll take what we want if we had that weapon. But every military has been working on that weapon. But where did that weapon come from? It came from the DNA of the extraterrestrials that crashed in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947.
Interesting.
That's sick. I love it.
That's killer. Yeah, I love that.
You paint quite a picture there, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got a tendency to forgive me. I hope you guys forgive me and your audience forgives me. But the picture that I'm trying to paint is so convoluted. Sometimes I have a tendency to ramble and speak a million miles per hour because I'm only trying to give bullet points.
Well, let me tell you something, man. I'm sitting here listening for about the last 10 minutes, and I'm here to tell you, I'm hanging on every word.
Yeah.
It's not going. There's no rambling here. It's making perfect sense, and I love the connections. You know what I mean? Because they all kind of seem like
nobody really makes
individual
connections. I love that because it's all they're focused on one topic, and they don't realize how it affects another topic or another. You know, that's beautiful.
Well,
I love the
it seems to me like AK's looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And there is one.
there is a big picture, especially when it comes up to these connections. And when these connections come around, which the work I'm working on now is it should scare you with the things that I'm diluting, because the next book is known as Origins. The first book is The Evolution of Patron Saint, which is called fact-based fiction, but you're not going to know the percentage either way of what's the percentage between fact and fiction. But in order to appeal to this world that we're living in, this brain dead world that we're living in, and the citizenry or the humanity that we're dealing with, you have to approach them in the same way that the military are using psyops or psychological warfare against us. You have to approach it in the way that psyops has conditioned all of us, and that's through entertainment. So if you blend facts with a little bit of fiction, strategically placed fiction, 9 times out of 10, you'll get people's attention more so you would if you approach them in a non-fiction category, which is about a bunch of BS, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I go to sleep on that stuff. I don't read that stuff. I go to sleep on it. But
that's brilliant.
With those realities, 9 times out of 10, that'll wake up the masses much faster.
Yeah, for sure, because they allow it in. It's not something they're so, resistant to. So, yeah, I like it a lot. And it sparks their imagination. And any good salesman will know that a way to sell something to somebody is to spark their imagination, get them to visualize themselves sitting in the car or whatever it is. And so, same topic.
Let me ask you something. That you, in your synopsis there, you indicated that the crash in Roswell instigated the military-industrial complex. Is it true that it wasn't in like that idea, that concept, I guess as we know it right now, that wasn't in place before that crash?
To be honest with you, yes, it was in place before that crash, but it wasn't in place as technically advanced as it was after 1947.
It just took a huge leap forward at that point.
Exactly, it took a huge leap forward. And I think I've placed on your Facebook page, on Truth Theorem Radio's Facebook page, under a caption that you guys had about Hitler and how he lived out his golden years.
Indeed.
But I put the connection together because the United States government helped him live out those golden years in Argentina, to be honest with you, to be specific. That we've known he's been alive, all that time. But it was a deal. It's brokering deals. One deal was for America to come out looking, like our SHIT don't stink after that war, because we unequivocally, supposedly won that war. Hey, we ousted him. He killed himself. He was a coward. They put whatever picture, the narrative that they wanted to put around the supposed demise, when in actuality, these experiments that I'm talking about that increased exponentially after 1947 Roswell UFO crash incident was happening back then. Because remember the Jews that were experimented on?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Jews that were experimented on, that was done in collaboration with the United States.
Interesting. Well, let me ask you this, and it's kind of taken a turn a little bit, and I don't want to get too far off the subject, but you do believe that there was an alien crash in Roswell?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And so what part of this whole scenario, outside of we got some DNA, are the aliens playing in this? Do they have a direct connection, or did we just happen to get a crashed UFO that had some DNA and we said, hey, let's play with it?
Well, this theory of mine is far beyond what I've written about. But from my research, what I'm seeing is that it is a This is just a broad hypothetical.
Uh-huh.
It was a plan. The crash was a plan in order to see what humanity was going to do with the bodies or with their technology. And their technology is broad. I think crashes have happened not only in America, but it's happened all over the world. And each government did the same thing as the American government has, experimented with the technology.
Interesting.
No, why wouldn't you?
Experiment with with beings.
Oh, I would. Where's the on button? What does this button do?
If we landed on a different planet, we would 9 times out of 10 they would experiment on us too. Just like this, the whole scenario of abductees. Yes, they're going to experiment on us. That's what you do with a race that you're trying to understand. You can't stand them from just observing them. You must touch them. You must prod them. You must probe them. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Just like we do with animals. Here.
Exact same scenario. Yeah. There's no difference. And with science, but the one thing about science you got to understand is that Eisenhower knew his place. He knew he wasn't supposed to say anything, and he didn't. He's a general. He was one of the only handful of 5-star generals that there were in the world, general of the army. And he, if you can just think about his 1961 speech, he was sending a clear message. It wasn't clear, it was convoluted, but he was sending a strategic message, because generals, in essence, are strategists. They're individuals that put platoons here and there, whatever they got to do. So he wasn't necessarily just a politician, but he was a general. He was a person that led men. So he strategized everything he did. So his words in 1961 was a strategy. Now, remember when he said it could, what is he? I'm sorry, guys.
No worries.
You're fine, dude.
When he said that in the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought by the military-industrial complex, he wasn't talking about just the military. He was talking about the military, as well as he was talking about the influence of extraterrestrial entities.
Wow. Okay.
It wasn't just the government, because the government is connected to this extraterrestrial race that has been around, these extraterrestrial races that have been around since the dawn of mankind, which Eric Van Dyken first brought to the world, that the government was keeping us blind to.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. I was going to save this for later, but this may be pertinent here. I was going to ask you an off-topic question. If you could name the owners of the world, who would they be?
I would say it has to be the many different sex of sex, meaning SECT.
Yeah, I got you. I'm with you.
Nice clarification, brother.
I'm with you. I perked up, but I'm with you. I got it.
I don't want the audience thinking that porn star.
Good thing this is internet radio, yeah.
No, but I would say that when it deals with it, I would deal with the secret societies that have been around since the dawn of time. Secret society has been around. Anybody that's wanting power had to find some way of harnessing that power. And the only way you can really harness that power is by keeping it into a very tight-knit group, meaning secret societies, whether it's the Illuminati, the Rosicrucians, so on and so forth. Skull and Bones, everything.
Okay, so you think they're the top of the pyramid? Nobody's coercing them or controlling them? You think they're the top of the game?
Oh, I do. Basically, they believe that they are the chosen ones, in a sense, dealing with this extraterrestrial race, even if they are hybrids of this extraterrestrial race, here to, steer humanity.
When you say hybrids, do you mean that sort of where the leaders are supposed to be kind of lizard-like in their real appearance, or is this a different kind of hybrid?
Well, that's a theory by David Icke. If you've heard of the author David Icke,
of course,
he speaks of these things, but his premonitions or his writings are, in a sense, on point, because I call it the power matrix. Would say that it goes into my theory about there's an intergalactic war afoot, and it's been going on around us for generations. Since the dawn of time, there's been an intergalactic war going on, and between many different species to control or manage mankind. Some species of extraterrestrials, actually, we are their primary food source. Franklin Delano Roosevelt knew this. Franklin Delano Roosevelt informed this to Truman in a private letter that was actually given to him by Eleanor, given to Truman after Truman died, supposedly because of a brain aneurysm. Franklin Delano Roosevelt died. There was a letter that was given. I can't reveal my source, but there was a letter that was given, a private letter. It was handwritten by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the longest serving president in United States history. and Truman was his third vice president. Truman got called by a private confidential presidential signal marker by Eleanor Roosevelt to the White House Oval Office, called Truman to the White House, and gave him this letter. And this letter said that Eleanor Roosevelt wrote said that he was assassinated, he was killed, he was murdered. Now I can't really go into detail about that because I'm still researching more of that, but the letter itself is a very real letter. So when I tell you that, I tell you this, you gotta. I don't want you to take it for a grain of salt. I want you to take this as fact. Truman is the one that he was the root of the military-industrial complex. He established it and he fortified it tenfold based on his experiences in a clandestine operation that he flew Air Force One to Roswell on the 5th of July in 1947, the day after the crash. And he set this up, and he set all this up. Truman got that letter, a private letter. He dismissed. He just thought it was just the ramblings of a former president that was pretty much out of his damn mind based on his long tenure in office.
Right.
So he ignored that letter. He just put it in the Oval Office, White House safe in the Oval Office. But when he experienced what he experienced when he spoke to an extraterrestrial biological entity that they named EBE, that entity, EBE, which was known as a Gray, specifically told him about the war, this intergalactic war. But he also realized that he would have to take a lot of immoral steps in order to safeguard humanity or to preserve humanity's existence. And therefore, things like chemtrails, experiments on human beings, even down to the FDA experimenting with our food. Because you got to look at it this way. And I hope I'm not rambling here.
No, you're good. I'm interested.
But look at it this way. Animal testing tells scientists but so much. Don't you agree?
Right. Yes.
In order to help humanity, you actually have to experiment on humanity. And that's what has been going on for generations.
And you can't do that above board, so you have to do some covert stuff. Yeah,
absolutely right. Because basically, what Eisenhower said in January 17, 1961 speech, in the Council of Government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. Then he said the potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. He said it can't be stopped. Basically, he told you it can't be stopped. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes, which is if it can't be stopped, you cannot stop the processes because Harry S. Truman put those processes in place. Why do you think there's so much debate going on about how much to give to the war powers or the arms divisions? And no matter what's going on in our nation, no matter how many people are starving or broke or homeless, we're always funneling money into the military-industrial complex. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He said we should take nothing for granted, only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry. That's where your radio program comes in too, and what I'm writing about comes into. Remember, it said only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together. Now, he's not necessarily just talking to Americans, because back then, the weight of his words were falling on deaf ears. They didn't know what the hell this man was talking about.
Right.
But today, we know more of what he was talking about based on what has transpired over the years.
Interesting. Well, you know what? Let's take a break. And
let's take a break, yeah. Hang out. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Truth Theorem Radio on KVPR DB. We have A.K. Kuykendall with us. This is pretty fascinating, I think.
I'm digging it, man.
Yeah.
I am.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Life does not stop and start at your convenience, you miserable pieces.
Are you even supposed to be here today? Don't get me started.
I don't know
with this full disclosure. Why they even bother? Why don't just give it to somebody else to do? Why is it always us that have to do it?
The Director of Science and Technology Policy brings this emergency White House meeting to order. Quiet down, everybody. Quiet down. Thank you all for coming. This disclosure petition fiasco has been dumped on our desk. Anybody got any ideas?
Which version of the truth are we going to be using this time? I can't remember.
Well, the truth is, the official story's above our pay grade.
Hell, it's above the president's pay grade.
Oh, that's
I don't even want to get involved in this. This is just too much.
This is horrible.
Why don't we?
This is going to be so. Nobody's going to believe what we say anyway.
I know. We need a distraction.
Yeah, distraction.
I like distraction.
What about that feline flu we developed last year?
You know, we already vetoed Project Pussy Flu.
Yeah, the name was horrible anyway. Should we fire up HARP?
No, we can't afford another earthquake in the wrong part of the world.
I don't like that.
How about we mess with the economy?
That's already in control. No, we're not.
Hey, are you guys thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah. You know, we're all banned from the Vulcan porn website now.
I knew we shouldn't have done that.
No, what I'm thinking, we need to get Phil to do it.
What? Isn't Phil the janitor?
Yeah, but he handled that 9/11 thing pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Phil!
Si, senor.
Hey, Phil, what do you know about UFOs?
Nothing?
Perfect. Hey, that's going to work. Hey, we need you to write something for us. We'll find someone else to clean up.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to work.
This is perfect.
They're going to buy this.
He has a nice ass.
Hello, everybody. It's Warren and Jason with
The Vapor Vault.
Listen, are you tired of smelling like cigarette smoke?
Are you ready to quit smoking?
Now there's a healthier alternative.
Come check out The Vapor Vault at 164 West 36th Street in Ogden, and we will help you make the switch.
With a wide variety of electronic cigarettes in our custom e-juice lab, you can choose from thousands of flavor and nicotine combinations mixed just for you while you wait.
The Vapor Vault, just west of Wall by the Newgate Mall in Ogden.
And check us out at myvaporvault.com.
What better way to say I love you than with Truth Theorem Radio?
That's a keeper.
And we are back.
We are back.
Hello.
Man, this has been so much fun. We kept rambling off the air. And
I know.
We have to save it. Save it for the show.
Let's talk about this. We've got on the air A.K. Kuykendall, author, theorist, and deep thinker. A.K., you still with us there, bro?
Oh, I'm here with you.
Tell us the name of your new book.
New book is Conspirator's Odyssey. The first title is the first title in the series, known as The Evolution of the Patron Saint.
TEOTPS. I was just about to ask you what that meant.
Yes, I had to shorten it because you know how Facebook and any social media, they don't let you give every title that you have, so I had to kind of give it an acronym in a sense.
Definitely. Well, your site is thewriterofbooks.com. I encourage each and every one of our listeners to go over there and check it out. If nothing else, if you don't end up buying his books, which you probably will, you're definitely going to find some interesting reads over there.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some cool stuff. I'm loving all these. You're the first one that I've really ever talked to that hasn't really been incredibly focused on the topic that they research. You are more look at this topic and it connects to this topic and it connects to this. And I love that because that's where all the meat comes in. Is this happened because of this and this happened as a result of that. That's beautiful. I love that, how you put that all together. And I think probably pretty much what you're going to get to here is pretty much every war is connected somehow in this scenario.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. In any let's say in any war campaign, the only reason to go to war is the only reason to go to war is to bolster your supposed super superpower status. That's the only reason to go to war. It's because if you're a war footing, you can demonstrate your weaponry. You can demonstrate that your new technology to the world. That's the reason why you go to war. And the same thing goes hand in hand with the super soldier agenda. Super soldier agenda is connected to the MK Ultra agenda, because if you're going to genetically evolve human beings into being super soldiers, how do you prevent them from taking over the world?
Yeah.
You need to have mind control. You need to have mastered mind control prior to that. So most of these, actually, majority of these things are connected. But what I was talking to you off the air was to let your audience know is that goes into an article that was written just recently, but it says tomorrow's soldiers could be able to run at Olympic speeds and will be able to go for days without food or sleep if new research into gene manipulation is successful. Now, you see, this is a soft sell to the American people, trying to get us to buy into this crap. But they've been doing this forever. According to the U.S. Army's plan for the future, their soldiers will be able to carry huge weights, live off their fat stores for extended periods of time, and even regrow limbs blown apart by bombs. Ain't that about a blip?
Wow.
And then you got to think about this one. Novelist Simon Conway, if you ever heard of that novelist, Simon Conway, who was granted behind-the-scenes access to the Pentagon's High-Tech Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and to which revealed the plans. These are real plans now. This is not part of no fact-based fiction. This is actual reality.
Right.
But I have to put a disclaimer in there. I said that you must know that Mr. Conway's revealing was governmentally guided, i.e. granted behind-the-scenes access. My novel, Conspirators, Odyssey, the Patron Saint, and the subsequent series wasn't granted a damn thing, and therefore no one has filtered my telling of these unethically contrived truths concerning our brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, basically our damn soldiers.
Wow.
So I'm gonna link this to your to your Facebook page and wherever else you got it.
Okay.
So you can see this link for yourself. But you got to ask yourself a question. How did we get this far? How did we get this far?
Well, I don't know. I think it's, you get put in a position, you take one step, you're pressured to take another one maybe, then maybe you feel obligated to take another one, and then by this time, you're numb to it, and so taking the steps don't seem like taking steps. It's just, something that's natural. So maybe it's an evolution like that to a point. I don't know. It doesn't seem right to the rest of us, but
it's not right at all. It's actually not ethical in any way.
No, agreed.
It's forced human evolution. They're forcing it because of what was perceived in Truman's during Truman's presidency. After 1947, what was perceived to be an invasion. This being that he spoke to actually spoke of an invasion, but that invasion has been going on since the dawn of time. It's what you call an intergalactic war that's been going on between species.
Right.
Some species consume us; they eat us. We're their primary food source.
Wow.
This was actually discovered during the heightened disappearances dealing with the Bermuda Triangle. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was discovered then. Most of the stuff that's unknown that goes on in our world today is all connected to my theory. And even though I push that theory into something that's more popular than anything, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, that's the most popular thing out of my theory that anybody's going to be paying attention to.
Yep.
So while you're paying attention to that, which is pretty simple, Vietnam, he didn't want to go to war. Basically, he doesn't realize that presidents don't have any power whatsoever. Most presidents don't realize that when they're candidates or they're just a part of the citizenry, before they become president, they're nothing. I always say that the highly coveted title of President of the United States of America, unbeknownst to any given citizen and or candidate, is fraught with delusions of grandeur. And though the towering goals of these Americans, many of whom are mere activists seeking to use politics to move forward grand ideals, are admirable, they're misguided. Because all who seek the title of president truly believes they would have a hand in fundamentally shaping our nation, when in fact the tumultuous line of succession from one U.S. president to the next does not undo clandestine operations established beforehand, whether large or small, moral or immoral, of this world or beyond.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, president's just a puppet for all intents and purposes.
Just a puppet. Everybody keeps raging against Obama, raging against Bush, raging against Clinton, blah blah blah. Presidents don't have no damn power. The democracy. I hope I'm not rambling again, guys. Let me know if I am. But
you're good. Go.
Democracy. We already know what democracy is. We learned it ever since we were a baby. Ever since we were a kid in school, getting under our desk with those drills. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. That's that BS meant to make us, make us feel real good, make our butts quiver. Democracy. Of the people, by the people. This country is nothing but a bureaucracy. And a bureaucracy, by definition, is a country ran by the unelected. There are people behind those well-paid stooges that we supposedly vote into office that are actually controlling our country, i.e. secret societies.
I agree with you.
We have no control over anything in our life. Nothing. But the people that believe that we do are the people that are living in the matrix and loving the matrix.
Agreed.
But the many of us that are living out here in Zion, hypothetically speaking, that are living in Zion, are the ones that truly see the world for what it is. But we're in danger because Socrates, the Greek philosopher, told his students that the pursuit of truth can only begin once they start to question and analyze everything, such as your show does, such as I do with my literature. But the military or the media complex doesn't kill people for pursuing the truth about the world. At least that's what they lead us to believe. They simply label us in one or two things. They simply destroy our careers and our reputations.
Yeah.
And as men and as parents, if we can't care for the children that we have, we can't feed them because of the restraints put on us by the society that's trying to keep us docile and quiet. If we can't feed our children, we might as well die.
And they can do that covertly without you even knowing that somebody's doing it to you.
Very much so.
I mean, you can lose a job or.
It's the same thing. There's the same thing as there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Like if you get fired from your place of employment, you think they're gonna fire you just out haphazardly? No, they're gonna strategize the way of firing you where it's a less of a blowback for them.
Yeah.
That's more than one way to skin a cat. Then they're gonna tell you they're firing you because you might be flat-footed, or you might have a disability, or you might be African American, or you pretty much was born with a vagina. They're not gonna tell you that.
Right.
They're gonna fire you based on specific strategic means or methods.
Right.
Yeah. This is gonna happen. You're gonna know the truth, but everybody around you are not gonna know the truth. They're gonna think that you got fired based on whatever narrative that your employers or the company put out there, because you can't speak for yourself. You're on the outside now. Welcome to America.
Deep stuff.
That is pretty intense. Hey, listen, I want to change direction a little bit. I want to go maybe off the topic of the historical and come to the present. I'm sure you're perfectly aware of the Fukushima nuclear disaster. As I understand it, you reside in Hawaii currently, and recently I watched a YouTube video from a renowned nuclear scientist who claimed that the Pacific Ocean is basically uninhabitable. What have you seen any repercussions of Fukushima? Say radiation, maybe, I don't know, massive fish death rolling up on the beaches or anything like that as a result of this kind of thing. I'm fairly interested in this. You see this and you see news and it's new, and you want to know all about it. So I kind of immersed myself in it. Then I kind of just lost interest because it was all the same thing. So you wonder if any of it has any real basis. Do you know anything about that? And if so, what can you tell us about it?
Well, I'm not a subject matter expert in that, but I do know there's a lot of strange happenings going on in our world. We know that recently, or not that recently, but Hawaii is the 50th state now. We only had 49 states up to a certain point in time. Then Hawaii became the 50th state. You got to ask yourself a reason why the king and queen of Hawaii was done away with, and the United States wanted Hawaii so badly. You ever ask yourself that question?
I think it's military strategy, probably.
Oh, it's definitely strategic.
Not just military strategy. They need to keep a tight lid on what you're speaking to right now. You're speaking to about the Fukushima, radiation, right, and what's going on with the fish. They can keep they can keep a media eye on anything that goes on there. There are massive fish deaths. You know how you got the tide turning red, and then you come up with this narrative about, oh, this must be happening or that must be happening. No, they're actually nukes that were lost at one time in the oceans.
If I'm not mistaken, the Pacific Ocean's already irradiated by testing.
But there's nuclear weapons that are actually at the bottom of those oceans. They were lost. Remember it's very difficult, but remember the time when during the heightened tensions between the Soviets and the Americans?
Of course.
In order to prevent another Pearl Harbor, they were actually they had bombers in the air, and each of those bombers that were in the air to try to prevent Russia from taking advantage of America ever since the hit of Pearl Harbor came, and we looked like we were weak. They had bombers in the air with actually nuclear weapons in them.
So it got that close.
Some of those bombers went down. Some of those bombers crashed. The pilots, everyone died. But where's the nukes?
Sitting on the bottom of the ocean, getting ready to explode.
So therefore, that's where your radiation is coming from.
Wow.
Nukes leak, especially when it has to do with the acids between the salt water.
Well, then it's certain then that the ocean itself is irradiated. Now, the reason that I asked about it is more for the idea of media blackout. As you may or may not know, Japan has made it illegal to basically report on, broadcast, talk about anything that they don't feel you should be talking about. And when I say that, I'm not being...
So it's kind of like America? Almost?
It is quite literal, the words that I speak. They don't want you to talk about things that they don't want you to talk about. That's the Japanese government coming forth. Now, keep in mind, it took a year and a half for TEPCO to even admit that there might be the possibility of radioactive water leaking into the water supply underneath Japan and the ocean itself. Now, if you go on Google and you check it all out, you'll see radiation maps and the devastated areas. and you know, quite frankly, there's a whole coastline of people just kind of living their lives and doing their things. But according to some of these, maybe more fanatical or idealistic people, they're saying that it's completely unsafe to be around. I mean, do you feel any different, being there in Hawaii? Is this just kind of talk or what?
No, I mean, actually, yeah, I believe it is affected, just like you see, more into the states and in the certain southern parts of the states, you see that the fire coming out the water. It's the same things that are happening here, but you don't see that much. It's more of a media blackout. They don't talk about the what's rolling up on the shore, the fish, the hundreds of fish that are rolling up on the shores. They don't talk about the tide. Yeah, in a sense, it is like a media blackout. It's so much stuff that's going on on our planet that sometimes you just have to kind of filter out most of that stuff.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, that said, with the amount of crazy stuff happening across the globe, is this part of the grand scheme? That we've been talking about that maybe even goes back to Roswell. I mean, is it a piece of the puzzle, or is it sort of a branch off the puzzle?
From my, I can answer that simply by saying from my research, when it goes into nuclear arms, in a sense it is connected because nuclear arms were actually, which is nuclear arms started from our American perspective was with the Manhattan Project, and the only human to ever set off a nuclear weapon was Delano Roosevelt. And in that letter that I talked about, that I spoke to earlier in this interview, basically, in that letter, it also said that that Truman must find a way, or Truman must find a way to get rid of nuclear arms as well, because they were a means of that these extraterrestrial races are going to use to manage humanity. You mean wipe out a certain huge swath of humanity so they can better manage us.
And that kind of falls in line with some of the theories going around about depopulation. There's way over 7 billion people on the planet. Some people say that the ecosystem of Earth can only support a human population of about 500 million people. There's talk in different conspiracy theories, that go around and say that the whole thing is planned. The extinction of humans, as well, basically as we know it, is definitely in motion. And it kind of goes back to that, doesn't it? They with the technology they gained from that UFO crash. I mean, they could generate any kind of deadly virus, or even something as dangerous as HARP, which can literally manipulate the forces of Earth. The magnetic forces, the tectonic forces, the weather forces,
and the people.
But this was all weaponry.
Exactly.
After 1947. But there was a lot of clandestine, crazy Euroscientific crap that was going on way before 1947. That's when you had the World War I, World War II, and then the Hitler regime and the experiments on.
Is that when the neuropsychiatric craziness started up? Is kind of with the Nazis, or was it before that?
No, that was with the Nazis, because that's where PSYOPs was created. That's psychological warfare.
I see.
PSYOPs, because you ever seen the bulbous heads of certain kids in the Jewish kids in Nazi Germany during World War II?
Yeah.
Yeah, all that was all part of mind control. They were trying to find some way of affecting the brain in some way, shape, or form, and they were torturing these people. And I have a funny feeling, and not to sound anti-Semitic or anything, but I have a funny feeling that you ever notice that the richest people in America are Jewish?
That seems to be the case, doesn't it?
Hollywood. I think the secret society or the secret sect that knows about Hitler, getting away, or knows about these experiments, and knows about the connection between the Nazi Germany and the Americas, that when they set up shop in America, they were protected more so than anybody else, and they were allowed to proliferate, to become as wealthy and as powerful as they are, based on the knowledge that they know, that the knowledge that they have could actually destroy the American superpower status just by divulging the information that they know.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of what Snowden's doing now, right? Spilling the beans all over the place.
Snowden done messed up. Just messed up everything. Yeah. And I believe that Snowden's connections between the Madeleine Albright, recently announcing that the CIA, the spy services are spying on Congress and the Senate. All this stuff is connected. All of it's connected.
We had a thought here. In fact, Nate sparked it to me. How much do you think Snowden might be disinformation?
None.
At all? I mean, he came out with some pretty good, interesting, he blew the NSA right wide open, and now that kind of gives him infallibility a little bit. He can say whatever he wants, and everybody's going to believe it.
Exactly, but not he can say whatever he wants, but he's also not doing that. He's not saying whatever he wants. He's not basically if he's got that much details into the spy services, he would have also extracted extraterrestrial material, like extracted more.
He would have to
lost papers of the Majestic 12. After Truman, the Majestic 12 that came after 1947 Roswell crash, he would have got all of that paperwork, but for some reason he didn't. Something else is going on here.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If he had all this information and he's just spilling out little things here and there, why wouldn't he just give it all out?
Yeah, what's he waiting for?
Why wouldn't he just give it all out?
Unless he's buying
once?
his life.
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, he is in Russia, and the last residence I heard he had was the airport. So, you know what I mean? Maybe he is kind of using that as some leverage to keep himself fed.
That's a possibility, I guess.
Anyhow, we're with A.K. Kuykendall, author of A Conspiracy's Odyssey. What's the name of the TOPS thing again?
TOPS is the evolution of the patron saint.
Excellent. Well, this has been a hell of an interview. You want to hang around for?
Now,
what
minutes? I want to know is, are you going to get any of your books on audio?
That should be coming soon. Recently, my agent Donald Ness out of New York, DMLA out of New York, acquired a 4-book deal because my theory and my concept is so popular that they want to expand my series, and they wanted and basically sign with a publisher known as Reed Publishing, and they want 4 more books in the series. So
amazing.
It's going to happen between 2014, 15, 16, and 14, 15, 16, and 17. I'll wait to 2017. So each year a book will come out, detailing more of the layers of the research that I have. but of course in an entertaining way. So I won't bore the hell out of like these politicians.
You've got your work cut out for you for sure.
Yeah, it's hard
I
work.
do. I promise to give you and your audience the a crisp understanding of where my theory came from and the roots of it, because book 2 is known as Origins, and I take you into the mind of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his letter, then into Truman's mind on why he flagship or built the military-industrial complex and fortified it tenfold to the point where it's still with us to this day. Eisenhower, the reason why Eisenhower was raging against it in his own way during his administration, stuff that we don't know nothing about, Eisenhower was fighting against the development of this, to the point where everything that he was doing was reduced down to his farewell address, to the point where it was so convoluted and so technical that no one really understood the 1961 speech that he gave, all the way until John F. Kennedy, taking cues from Eisenhower, decided to do something totally different. And he raged against from the power of the presidency. He decided to rage against this machine, ignoring everything Eisenhower told him on how to strategize his way through there. He raged against the machine, and basically he was not going to go to war, and he was not going to go to war with Vietnam out of spite. It had nothing to do with strategy. It was spite. I'm not going to allow you to test your weapon, so they took him out.
Interesting. Wow.
That makes complete sense, too.
Yeah.
I'm all over that for sure. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on and being
amazing.
on the show. It was fantastic. We'll
A.K.
might have you back
Kuykendall.
on again. For
A.K.
sure.
Kuykendall is our guest. You can find him at www.thewriterofbooks.com. I want to say thanks again, man. You're the first guest I've booked here on Truth Theorem, and I just want to say thanks, man. You've been fantastic.
Great host, guys.
There you go, boys. How do you feel about that now?
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
One piece of advice, sir. If you want to sell books, make sure you put sex in the title.
Yeah, okay. I think he's doing fine. Thank you so much. You're listening to Truth Theorem Radio on KVPR DB. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Life does not stop and start at your convenience, you miserable pieces.
Are you even supposed to be here today? Don't get me started.
Oh, this is a good idea to get the 72-hour kit together.
You can
Warren.
never be too prepared.
No, you never know what's going to happen. Let's go through the list here. I got duct tape.
Duct tape, check.
Batteries.
Batteries, AA and C.
Okay.
Check.
Toilet paper.
Check.
Can never have too much toilet paper. Plastic sheeting.
Check.
Compass.
Check.
Rope.
Check.
Whistle.
Check.
Matches.
Check.
Got TTR?
TTR. That's,
TTR. Is that on the list?
I don't have it here. How do we get TTR?
Go to Got TTR. That's GOTTTR.com.
All right, I'm going to go there right now.
Who was that somewhat scary man with a sexy voice?
Hey folks, Spatchy here to talk a little about the Utah Vapors Association, Utah's consumer advocacy group focusing on tobacco harm reduction, also known as THR, through the use of personal vaporizers. The Utah Vapors seeks to form relationships with Utah health agencies and legislators statewide to function for the greater health of the Utah public, as well as inform and educate people about the THR movement. Formed in 2011, the Utah Vapors have provided support and education regarding alternative methods of THR after witnessing time and time again failed attempts by our public health agencies to reduce smoking rates in the region. The Utah Vapors host monthly vape meets at various establishments along the Wasatch Front on the third Saturday of each month, giving Utah Vapors the opportunity to meet other vapors in the area and share ideas and new products, as well as discuss important topics related to vaping in Utah. Visit www.utahvapors.com for more information and to become part of the ever-growing vaping community. Help us to help you protect your right to vape. Visit utahvapors.com today.
Okay, hey guys, check this out. While we're on break, I want to get some of these symbols.
Oh yeah, let's. It was RileyMartin.com, right?
RileyMartin.com.
Let's go there.
Now, do you have
I need
to have
like
one for
3. Yeah, I need 3 for my. How many you need, Warren?
Man, I'm gonna need 6.
6 and Rob.
I almost one for every family. My sister's got 7 kids.
We need like 20 of them then, or something. That's gonna be a lot.
Man,
almost
Rob,
twice that many.
Can you spot me?
That's gonna be a lot.
Oh, how much is that?
That's gonna be a lot.
Holy cow!
Oh my God!
William Shatner.
James T. Kirk, right here in our studio.
Wow.
Hi everyone. Paying too much for symbols? This is William Shatner. You can get symbols at a much better price at Priceline.com. You can also save up on your hotel rooms.
Oh, Priceline.
Hey, that's a good idea.
All right,
Punch that up, Warren. And get that.
William
on
Shatner. Wow.
I would have never thought William Shatner.
William Shatner, right
He
here
looks
with
different
us.
than I remember.
He
him.
does look different. His face looks
Hotel.
strange.
Look at him. Does he kind of look? Is that a mask he's wearing?
Is he taking off a mask?
Guys, there's no symbols on Priceline.com.
Ha! I fooled you. This is Christopher Walken. There are no half-price symbols on Priceline. The only place you can get them is RileyMartin.com. And if you don't buy it there, I'm going to put antifreeze in your coffee.
It's like an orgasm for the ears, the way you guys all work together.
And we are back.
We are back.
Hello.
That was fun, dude.
How about that?
That was killer.
A.K. Kuykendall in the house.
I like that, dude. He made all kinds of connections. I keep saying that. Connections. But it's all about connections, isn't it?
It really is. I'm connected to you guys right now.
Are you?
Via a microphone and
Via
a bunch
wire?
of cables.
Oh, well.
Vibrations,
Yes.
light, possibly.
No vibrations.
No vibrations?
No.
No vibes. No vibes in the TTR studio, that's for sure.
Excellent.
So what'd you think, Nate?
I enjoyed it thoroughly. That was my first guest that I booked for the show. And
so it was kind of like your little baby.
Well, it really was. It was a little project. And the cool thing about it is he stayed in constant contact with me. He was very, very professional about the whole thing. I think he was rather excited about it. It's probably a little bit different of an interview than he's used to doing.
Probably.
Not Truth Theorem Radio, what?
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is we're a couple of dudes that sit around and talk about stuff.
True that.
A couple dudes and one smart guy.
Hey, who's the smart guy?
Me, of course.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Oh, hell
no, dude. We're missing somebody. We'll just pretend the smart guy isn't here tonight.
I think you just got your smart guy title taken away, Jason.
Sorry, Jason.
Oh, you're giving it to Dale?
I'm not giving it to anybody. I'm just saying.
Oh.
No, it's true. We're a couple of dudes just looking for the truth. That's what the whole thing's about.
And of the three of us, I'm the smartest.
And the craziest thing is the more people there are, the more possibilities there are. The truth is a very vague picture at this point, is it not? I mean, you can make those connections. You can go through and map it all out. But the bottom line is, there's 7 billion of us here, and there's a lot happening. So what end is it coming to? I mean, is it coming down to whittling the population down? Because he set out a path. AK laid out a path of the military-industrial complex, and he implied that it's been going on for a number of years prior to even the Roswell crash.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't have the technology that it had at that point. There's 7 billion people.
Let me ask you a question.
Could it be possible to somehow herd these, let's call them cattle, that are us, the human race, into a culling?
Let me ask you
I
this
don't think
question.
so. Hey, what time is the Big Bang on again?
I don't know.
No, I don't think you can do it.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I don't think you can herd a lot of people in anywhere you want, other than entertain them.
Do you think
base your whole society off entertainment?
Catch the Big Bang Theory on ABC tonight.
Now, see, you're trying to take the freaking smart title, and you couldn't even follow me. Good night.
No, I followed you.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I was just trying to be smart.
Dale hypnotized him, and he couldn't catch up.
Do you think that there will be a point in humanity's future history that the population will not go down?
How so? What do you mean?
Do you think that we can continue
on
this path that we are on now
absolutely not.
Forever?
Because think about it. With every human that pops out of a vagina, there's about 7 more that will come from that as well. There's no possible way you can't. Even the universe couldn't fill up like that.
So this is what I'm
Hey-o!
saying. At some point, there will be some sort of catastrophe on this planet that reduces the population.
What's crazy is I think about this often, and I want to share this with you. It just popped into my mind. If there's all these possibilities for mass destruction, massive death, Megatron, Transformers coming down and completely leveling an entire.
Transformers,
that was a movie, dude.
I'm just.
Come on, make
I'm
something
just.
something that I can relate to.
It's a theorem.
Okay, go ahead.
If all these potentially billions of people will die disasters that have been portrayed in media, such as The Big Bang Theory on ABC tonight, if that's the case, why haven't any of them happened?
CBS, dumbass.
I mean, you've got bird flu.
It looks like I'm holding the smart title. You guys forfeited both.
Hey, man, I was never in the running. I'm not claiming to be, so I'm good. I'm just going to keep talking here. The bottom line is that why hasn't it happened yet? I mean, is it just a culmination?
No, here's the deal.
Is it going to be that massive, this culling, I mean,
in my humble opinion,
yet.
it's not going to be anything that is outside of this world that's going to take the population down. It's going to be something natural that the Earth does.
Well, that's what I mean.
I mean, just look at Yellowstone. That's all it's got to do. You know what I mean? Yellowstone is ready to go according to some. They're like, oh, wait, it's giving off this methane that only happens before volcanoes erupt, and it's 1,000 times more than it's ever been. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, it's pretty much been debunked.
Is that true? Well, then forget my whole thing. I digress. The Transformers are coming.
Let's do
roll out.
Let's do hypothetical bet.
All right.
Okay, let's all bet. If you were to bet, would you bet on the decline of the population of the planet is attributed to Mother Nature or mankind?
That's a tough one for me.
Wow, that is, isn't it?
God, you actually shut me up right
That's
there.
probably, you've got a 50-50 chance of both
now
of them,
that's
honestly.
flipping scary, isn't it?
Well, look.
That Mother Nature has equally as much chance to wipe us out as we do ourselves. That's messed up, dude. That ain't right.
Well, how is that messed up?
Because why the hell should we wipe ourselves out? That's
because we're idiots, and that's what humans do. We're
the people that run the show,
are into warning.
the people that build weapons, the people that manifest all these crazy scenarios of
you're
death.
talking weapons? I thought you were talking global warming in our SUVs. I'm sorry.
I was getting there.
Okay, go ahead.
I was getting there, Dick, before you chimed in. Ladies and gentlemen, our host, Dick.
All right, go ahead.
No, the thought's gone now, dude. It's over.
No, go ahead.
You
derailed him.
I lost it, dude. I've derailed. I'm laying on my side, burning in a flame right now. I'm toxic.
The wheels are spinning on the top.
Well, Dale's not here, so I had to do it to somebody. It's a habit.
We're evacuating the premises. Yeah, somehow we're
I don't
still
even
in
remember what I said. Oh, you're
so
talking
okay,
about...
now let's go with the alien. Let's get back on the alien theory. Okay, now this guy's theory is heavily alien based. Okay, this all happened because of a UFO crash at Roswell. Correct.
Yeah.
And all this technology that spurred all this war and industrial military complex stuff was spurred or escalated, compounded, whatever, from that incident. Correct? So, do you guys buy into the fact that we have had some sort of terrestrial influence from an extraterrestrial source at some point?
I have
in our history.
Do I buy into it? Yes.
Probably.
How could it not be? I mean,
well, it could not be because it's natural.
Even the ancients,
we did really evolve.
But you can't create the kind of ideas that are penned into stone. Thousands of years ago. You can't really create that in a primitive
not
sort
anomalies.
of race.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not saying that. But yeah. I mean, I could see how it was just. I mean, look at they had nothing to do but look at the sky. They had nothing to do. That was their TV.
Let me tell you something.
And you know how bright stars were 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago?
If you spend a little time looking into those stars on that kind of in that kind of environment, you're going to see things, and not just see things that aren't there. I'm talking about seeing things that are there. They're for real. You know, I caught a shooting star, and the reason that I'm saying this is I caught a shooting star the other night that I literally watched break up in the atmosphere. It was amazing, intense. It was quick, and it happened. you know, with a clearer view of that sky, I bet you that would have lit us up. You know, it was that bright and that big, but you know how many people saw that? You know, nobody was looking at the sky except for me.
Nobody looks up.
The bottom line is that was their television. That was their entertainment. Right. They looked around and they saw in their own environments their sort of quote unquote television, their sort of information, their media, if you will.
Well, not only that, but that is where their gods lived.
Their gods
are what controlled their
you're
lives.
talking about that from a current kind of mindset as gods. They didn't say the word gods, dude. They don't know that word. They never knew that word. God to us is a whole different concept to what it might have been to a primitive person.
Okay.
Right, because our God doesn't swallow the sun at night and then it gets reborn in the morning.
Yeah, they also don't fly around on saucers, have big black eyes, and are gray. But there's pictures of those too. And
Possibly,
pyramids standing that have no explanation for their building except for that they're there. You know?
Well, just because we don't understand it doesn't make it all mystical, dude.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said that there's the possibility.
I'm with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I do believe that.
Yeah, Dick Warren on the microphone over there.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying. Look,
producer extraordinaire.
I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
What are you saying exactly?
Well, what I'm saying is I have a hard time with reverse engineering. I have a very hard time with that, okay? To believe that we got a spaceship from Roswell and all of a sudden we looked at it and reverse engineered it and all these cool things came out within the next 10 years.
Wait,
I ain't buying it.
You're talking about a total reverse engineering, though. That's not possible. I mean, pieces, could not pieces of that come from that? I mean, really?
Okay, well, just take our
You're looking at it from you're standing above and seeing the whole picture all the time and all the effort put in.
I got you.
That's not the way to look at it. You've got to look at it by the pieces too. You know,
You got to look at
the pieces make a puzzle.
The fabric that made up the chair that the alien sat in. Maybe that's an incredible piece of technology. Maybe that's where memory foam came from. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Seriously. Small spandex. Maybe we had no idea what spandex was before that.
I think
but
it was
now,
your mic is freaking out.
I think it was the aliens that introduced spandex. Just saying.
It probably is, and Velcro and cell phones But what I'm saying is, even the materials, the raw materials that made up the vessel, could have substantially propelled us in our innovations, for sure. Much like introducing a metal tool to a caveman would have.
Yeah, a wrench. They can now hit something with it.
Well, or a knife.
Dude, a wrench turned into a
whatever.
star screwdriver. You know what I mean? A 6-sided hexagonal.
Because there's lots of screws in the caveman days.
That's right.
Christ.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just
Thank
like
you,
that.
Jason.
Go and take an F-16 and drop it in front of a caveman, and let's see how fast it takes them to reverse engineer.
know what?
That's an F-16, and you're still looking at it from a current man's point of view. You can't look at it like that. You've got to open your mind to what they saw. You know, they don't have anything to relate it to.
Who's they? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the primitives. I'm talking about your concept of their gods.
It is exactly the same.
It's not right.
It's exactly the
No.
same. You're telling me that we could look at some equipment that got someone from thousands of light years away to here and go, oh, why didn't we just put that in a missile? That's stupid. No, of course, because it's something that is.
That's quite the opposite of what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It is very. We can look at this and not understand it. It is as equivalent as a caveman looking at an F-16. We would not understand it. That's my point. That's why I have a problem with reverse engineering.
And here's what I'm saying, though, in that same scenario. Drop the F-16 in front of the caveman, and the caveman looks at the thing and doesn't have any idea what to do with it. He has no idea what it even is.
But he starts doing stuff.
However, he notices that there's wheels connected to it, and if you push the damn thing, it rolls pretty easily.
I get that.
And wow, I can chisel a circle and make my own little wheel out of it. And so the wheel substantially propelled humanity in its thing, and it was only the one little concept. The dude, it didn't take anything at all from the plane. He just took the concept of the wheel. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
That's where the reverse engineering comes in. It's just sparking new ideas, maybe new materials, new ways of putting things together, and that's where the reverse engineering came in.
And memory foam.
That was really stupid.
No, I got you. No, I got you. I got you. No, it was a perfect analogy. I get it.
Simple
I just don't know how. Well,
did they build another spacecraft the next year and they're flying it? No, probably never.
According to the ex-CEO of Lockheed Martin, we're in space and we can go wherever we want. So,
and is
that true?
That is a very good possibility.
Yeah, apparently he said that. I don't know, but then again, Chumley died today of a heart attack. So,
rest in peace, Chum.
I've heard from.
I wonder if Pawn Star's got any alien artifacts. You know what I mean? Maybe some evidence that JFK was assassinated because of Roswell, or that
why would they?
Fukushima's radiating the ocean.
So I get that. I can wrap my head around that. What you're saying?
Yeah,
I got that.
So that's what I'm saying.
So
even
I digress.
The concept of shelter.
Oh my God! Did you just digress?
I did. My other issue is this place was no place till we got here. We all know that, but that's just from us. You know what I mean? That's our point of view. What do aliens really care? I mean, I get that we could be like an anthill, but that's only so much fun.
Why do we care about the ants?
Well, I don't.
But we do. We know about them. We've studied them. We've ant farms. We got, there's history shows and nature shows about ants. And
no, it's true. It's true. But they're more of a nuisance really than anything. And if I see them, I just kill them.
But they, in a grander scale, they're part of our ecosystem.
But I don't have a war with anybody else to say, you know what, these are my ants.
No, agreed.
You know what I mean? I want to rule this.
However, we do war about the dirt that the ants live on, dude.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. That's actually true.
Yeah, screw the ants. We're nothing. We're the ants. Mm-hmm. Maybe they really want the planet or the resources on it.
Or maybe it's the perfect place to conduct a perfect experiment on how to raise a pseudo-thinking sort of intelligent being for
a zoo experiment?
Mining of the Earth's materials.
Well, that's a good theory.
That's right. My name is Nate Vaughn.
Well, is that your theory?
We'll be here all week.
No, it's, it's kind of random thoughts that's just spewing out of my mouth.
I mean, I'm ready to give you the smart title back.
I don't want it.
Fart smucker?
I'll take that one.
The fart smucker?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like farts.
And smuckers.
And lamps.
Yeah.
Lamps are cool.
You know, the other issue I've got is these aliens traveled so far to get here just to crash. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
There's a cake party on Earth tonight, bro.
I want you to think about it, though.
We crash at your place?
You're an alien. You're an alien, okay? Well, okay, let's say you're human, okay? You're 100 years in the future, and you've got a spacecraft now, okay? And you're going to take the family on a little vacation in the universe, okay? And so you hop aboard your little spacecraft, and your Lexus XS 920 or whatever that you're in, right? And you're cruising around the galaxy, right? And lo and behold, there's a nice little blue-green planet right there. Let's go check this thing out. Now, you have no idea.
A nice little blue-green planet.
You have no idea what's on this planet. That's why you're going to investigate it, right? You're going to fly down there and check it out. And you have no idea of the atmospheric conditions. You have no idea what.
Do you actually fly in space?
I don't know.
Cruise.
If you have the magnetosphere of the planet or something affects your engines or your electrical systems, you don't know if there's, an earthquake or, you don't know how that planet and that ecosystem is going to affect you or your
they did in Star Trek.
Maybe they actually do.
Not in every episode. You should go back and watch it again.
Well,
they got screwed up all the time.
When their sensors couldn't. Have you ever thought it was funny? Did you ever notice that the only starship that was... My goodness, Nate.
Would you mute his mic? My God.
This is Nate Mon signing off.
The only starship that was lost in space was the one manned by a woman.
Yeah. No,
what's up with that?
It's because none of the male captains admitted they were lost.
We're exploring. We're not lost.
She was lost. She's like,
she was lost. I don't even know how to get back.
I'm asking everybody I run into. They're spitting on
captain.
me.
What's up with that? I wonder if there's something there.
There might be. There might be, actually. I've never really thought of it that way, but intriguing for sure.
Metal DK will not be on tonight following Truth Theorem Radio.
But Thumpin' Thursday, I'll be here tomorrow night with yours truly, DJ Spatchy Love.
Do you have any guests tomorrow night?
Guests, James Forte.
Oh, yeah.
And Shawn Michael will be returning as well.
Oh,
so we're going to have 2 DJs in town. I may even ask my kind, loving, caring, wonderful producer to extend us by an hour.
Probably not going to happen, but go ahead and ask.
I'm going to ask him anyway. See what happens.
So don't miss tomorrow night. Thumpin' Thursday is going to be an amazing show if you're into electronic music.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bass music extraordinaire, DJ Spatchy Love on the 1s and 2s. I want to thank A.K. Kuykendall for coming on tonight.
That was amazing.
That was really cool.
Check him out at www.thewriterofbooks.com, facebook.com/AKKUY. I'm sorry. K-U-Y.
You got it.
K-E-N. K-E-N-D-A-L-L. And that, my friends, is why I will not be on for an extra hour tomorrow night. Thank you.
And while you're at it, while you're on Facebook, going and checking out his page, give us a like, too, while you're at it. Truth Theorem Radio.
Facebook.com/Truth Theorem Radio. Don't forget to check us out online at GotTTR.com.
That's 3 T's.
That would be free. In fact, one of the funniest things is when I first checked you guys out online last year after I met you, I had the hardest time getting to your site because I kept typing 2 T's.
Yeah.
Well, so that's tricky. 3 T's, people.
I did it too, I must confess.
You did?
Once or twice.
The look on Warren's face says he can't even fathom. Possibly.
It's completely
even
disgusting.
thinking remotely about putting only 2 T's in that website address.
That's a blasphemy. No.
All right, and that's it.
That's it
for this show.
Who we got coming up next week, Nate?
Next week, I don't know.
Okay, perfect.
In fact,
Surprise guest.
I think the final Wednesday of March, we will be having Alfred Lambermont Weber III on. He is
cool.
a very interesting fellow. In fact, that's the guy who interviewed the nuclear physicist that I've been gaining all this Fukushima nonsense I've been spewing.
That's going to be good because I don't know really where I stand on that.
Well, here's the deal. That's such a small part of what this guy is about and does. This rabbit hole goes deep, and I think he's going to be a fascinating guest.
More connections?
Connections, possibly. Maybe not so much the ones from the history books, but from the skies above you.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
I like connections.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. It was great fun.
Absolutely. And join us next week
on Truth Theorem Radio.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
As a duly designated representative of the city, I order you to cease any and all supernatural activity and return forthwith to your place of origin or to the nearest convenient parallel dimension.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I need a drink.
Why, oh, why?